Hello, namaskar everyone. A big win for India, a bigger win for Russia. Why do I say so? Russia finds no mention of declaration in this particular joint declaration that has been adopted with, let me say it, 100% consensus between so many leaders. It took more than 150 hours of negotiation between different Sherpas, spokesperson, ministers to have a joint declaration. And India has shown the world yet again that it can turn the tides. The era of India has arrived. The world is so much divided right now. Most of the countries wanted a condemning language against Russia. Words of declaration that they were able to achieve in the Bali Declaration. But India took its stance, did not let it use the words of condemnation against Russia. We have one earth, we are one earth, we are one family, and we share one future. On the basis of this, many outcomes have been achieved. But our goal here is to make sure that you understand it from the perspective of diplomacy. How India was able to get so many leaders who were divided over the language that is to be used in this joint declaration. Should they condemn Russia? Shouldn't they condemn Russia, or should they remain neutral? It took India as a country to ensure that all the members are seeing eye to eye on this. Of course, it has mentioned Ukraine as being one of the victims, but no words of declaration have been used against Russia. So, years of cascading challenges and crises have reversed the gains in 2030 agenda. This has been acknowledged. And its sustainable development goal. Greenhouse gas emissions continue to increase. Mostly, we talk about climate issues here. Inflation has also been mentioned. Upskilling, artificial intelligence, many things are there. We have to accelerate strong, sustainable, balanced and inclusive growth. This has been shown by the admission of the African Union, which is a 55-member union, as a permanent member of the G20. Accelerate the full and effective implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Pursue low GHG, low carbon emissions, climate resilient and environmentally sustainable development pathways by championing an integrated and inclusive approach. Now, there was also many talks about many Middle Eastern countries or West Asian countries not being in favor of the world fossil fuels. Improve access to medical countermeasures and facilitate more supply and production capacities in developing countries to prepare better for the future health emergencies. That means pandemic has also found a mention. Promote resilient growth by urgently and effectively addressing debt vulnerabilities in developing countries. Here, countries such as Sri Lanka and Pakistan are in our minds. Scale up financing from all sources for accelerating progress on SDGs. Accelerate efforts and enhance resources towards achieving the Paris Agreement that was adopted in 2015. We have to ensure that we keep the level of temperatures well below 1.5 degrees to 2 degrees Celsius, and that is as compared to the pre-industrial level. So that has to be ensured, that temperature goal has to be reduced, or temperature goal has to be achieved by reducing the temperatures, of course. Pursue reforms for better, bigger and more effective multilateral development banks. Here we are talking about the dominance of major countries in different institutions such as the World Bank, such as the IMF. We need more inclusive infrastructure, as in financing infrastructure. Improve access to digital services and digital public infrastructure, which the WHO has praised a lot in its report. And leverage digital transformation opportunities to boost sustainable and inclusive growth. Promote sustainable, quality, healthy, safe and gainful employment. Close gender gaps. Promote the full, equal and effective and meaningful participation of women in the economy as decision makers and not just decision takers. As we have also become decision makers, India has become a decision maker instead of just decision taker. Better integrate the perspectives of developing country, that means voice of the global south, and hence the African Union, including LDCs, LLDCs, small island developing nations or states, into future G20 agenda. Through these actions today, we are building towards a system that better empowers countries to address global challenges, is human-centric, and brings prosperity and well-being to humanity. Now, the big thing here. You see, no declaration against Russia at all. Also, they did talk about, this joint declaration does talk about human suffering and negative added impacts of war in Ukraine, not Russian invasion of Ukraine. And this is a big win for Russia. Russia, although did not attend this particular summit, but still it was able to have a friend, that is India, say, no, under my presidency, we will not, we will not be a part of any bloc. If this was a condemnation, India would have been seen as a part of certain blocs, specifically the G7. So this is a marvelous win for India. Dr. S. Jaishankar was so happy about it. We appreciate the efforts of Turkey and UN brokered Istanbul agreements consisting of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Russian Federation and Secretariat of the United Nations on promoting Russian food products. Remember, the Black Sea Grain Initiative provided a proper corridor so that the food grains from Ukraine could travel to different parts of the world through the Black Sea. But when Russia saw that my food grains are at a loss, I am not able to do that. So it withdrew from it. But now here in this particular, you can see on promoting Russian food products and fertilizers to the world market. That means not only Ukraine, but Russia's food grain should also be provided and promoted throughout the world, so that every country benefits and whatever problems there are between Russia and Ukraine, they can solve it together. Again, today's era must not be of war. Moving on. See, this is the Bali Declaration of 2022, in which it was properly said, as you can see, that there was a discussion on the issue. We reiterated our national positions as expressed in other fora, including the UNSC, UNGA, deplores Russia in the strongest terms and aggression by the Russian Federation against Ukraine. So, if India also could get a similar joint declaration, China would have gotten closer to Russia, saying that, oh, India couldn't save you. Oh, India has also joined the Western Bloc. India is not your friend. So there were so many implications that could have been done, and that has been saved. Now, we reiterate our commitment to take action to scale up sustainable financing in line with the G20 Sustainable Finance Roadmap. That means whatever money pumping that China is doing, it is unsustainable in nature. We need to counter that. All these are very important from the perspective of your examination. You have to read between the lines. It has been, India's presidency has been the most ambitious in the history of the G20 presidencies. Now, we conducted so many summits in different cities. Why wouldn't it be so ambitious? We ensured that the African Union should be included, because only South Africa as a member of the G20 wouldn't be able to, be representative of so many other countries that are important and a part of the African Union. We need to develop them. So I hope you understood the implication that India will have after this. Thank you so much for watching.